Straight ahead on 12 News, the end of a long era in Brooklyn Center.
For a lot of people, they grew up shopping at this store.
What's moving in to replace Malmborg's? Plus, Americans' obsession, drinks infused with sugar. We'll measure it up in Health Check. But first, a new online scam targeting certain businesses.
We're pretty convinced it will jump over to other industries pretty quickly.
12 News starts right now. Hello, and thanks for joining us. A Robbinsdale man is speaking out about a new scam that targeted his photography business.
And Brad Nyberg did not fall for the scam, but as Cassie Bonstrom explains, he's still suffering the consequences.
Hold the basket.
For the past 2 years, Brad Nyberg and his wife have made photography their full-time job.
There we go. Now we're in business.
They do some portrait sessions in their basement studio, but a majority of their work is shooting weddings.
This one we shot down in New Prague. I think we ended up delivering about 800 pictures from the wedding. I'm sure you know the Minneapolis area is not lacking in photographers. You know, this is what puts food on our table.
With such vast competition, Brad is well aware how important online reviews are to his business's success.
I would say 90% of our business comes from people looking online.
It's why a new scam has him worried.
You just get an email saying, give me money or I'm going to write bad reviews.
It started a few weeks ago when he received an email warning him of an angry customer who was going to post nasty reviews online.
I have a friend who's really upset with you and he's threatening to post negative reviews in 25 places. And if you give me $299 US, I will talk to him and try to get him to stop.
Brad recognized the scam and ignored it, but within days, the reviews popped up.
They're horrible. They showed up 3 hours late. They didn't give me any of my pictures, blah, blah, blah.
For Brad and his wife, it's a no-win situation. They didn't lose money to the scammers, but they may lose business to the people scared away by the false reviews.
If the first thing that pops up is a negative review, we'll never even know they left. They'll just move right on to the next site.
This is something new under the sun.
The local chapter of the Better Business Bureau says this is a relatively new scam, one they hadn't heard of in Minnesota before learning of Brad's situation.
We're pretty convinced it will jump over to other industries pretty quickly.
And while it's so far targeting just photographers, they fear it won't stop there.
70% of people trust customer reviews, so it's one of those things where you really want to watch out there and see what's being said about your company.
It could completely destroy everything, and we'd never even see it coming.
The Bureau recommends people set up a Google alert system to track what's being posted online. That's what Brad did, and he's trying to focus on the silver lining while he also saves his reputation.
We hadn't been focusing on our online presence so much. Now we are.
Well, if you receive emails like Brad did, the Better Business Bureau would like you to contact them. They also recommend filing a report with the Federal Trade Commission and your local police. And Mike and Alex, they also recommend that if you use the internet to search for businesses and find your business, that you also take every review with a grain of salt, for Brad's sake and others.
Yeah, right. It's hard to know what to believe.
Yeah. Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Thanks,
Do your
Cassie.
research.
Crystal police say they are following up on new leads in the search for Barway Collins. The 10-year-old Crystal boy disappeared on March 18th, shortly after getting off his school bus. Police say they are getting new leads daily. Monday, authorities searched an area of the Mississippi River. Police say they have strong evidence that the boy's father was in that area the evening of Barway's disappearance.
There's some good news if you're looking for a job. Job vacancies in Minnesota reached nearly 89,000. That's the highest level since 2001. While the report offers evidence of a growing economy, about 40% of the openings are part-time jobs. Healthcare and social assistance jobs led all sectors with 21% of the openings.
The spring has been particularly dry, and that has firefighters warning about grass fires. Monday, Brooklyn Park firefighters fought 4 separate grass fires along both sides of Highway 610. The causes remain under investigation. So far this year, we're running about 2 inches below average precipitation. Brooklyn Park firefighters warn against discarding cigarette butts on the ground. They also recommend stacking firewood at least 20 feet away from your home. A fixture in Brooklyn Center for decades will soon be closing its doors.
The owners of Malmborg's nursery are selling their property to make way for a new charter school. Every spring it's been the same, growing young plants and getting them ready for another gardening season at Malmborg's nursery in Brooklyn Center.
Okay, now I'm switching over to Violet.
This year is no different, except it's Malmborg's last growing season here.
We will be closing this retail garden center after 4th of July.
It's the end of a long era for 3 acres of greenhouses on Lilac Drive. Owner Troy Lux says the property has been in the plant growing business for more than 100 years.
Is this the oldest greenhouse on your property?
Yeah, some of these houses here are the original houses. Some of the pipes come from the original structures built in the early 1900s.
Troy's father worked here for many years and then bought the business in the 1970s, specializing in geraniums. So closing this location is sentimental.
For a lot of people, they grew up shopping at this store, coming here with their parents as a child. And so there's a certain kind of nostalgia to coming here.
These days, the company grows more than 4 million plants here and at its nurseries in Rogers and Blaine, which will stay open and may expand.
All the plants that you see that a lot of other garden centers start with us.
And Lux says they weren't looking to sell, but the right offer came from a charter school.
They came along and we thought it was a good mix for the city as well as the community. And it made sense for us in our long-term strategic plans.
New Millennium Academy has a focus on serving the Hmong population and is now located in North Minneapolis. With 500 students, school officials say they were looking for a place to grow.
It's going to be a pretty fast-moving construction project.
The New Millennium Academy hopes to open its Brooklyn Center School in time for fall of 2016.
Development along Highway 610 in Brooklyn Park is heating up. The Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal reports that Minnetonka-based Opus Development Company has reached a deal to buy 50 acres of land at the northeast corner of Highway 610 and Zane Avenue. That is near Target's northern campus. While more details are expected later this week, the site is proposed for retail, office space, and multifamily housing.
A Robbinsdale district school teacher has been named a finalist for Minnesota's Teacher of the Year. Ann St. Clair from Sonneson Elementary in New Hope is one of 10 finalists for the honor awarded by the State Teachers Union. St. Clair teaches English to students in kindergarten through 2nd grade. The Teacher of the Year will be announced on May 3rd. Well, still ahead, could it be the bane of the American diet?
We'll measure up our sugary drink consumption next in Health Check. And then a little bit later in sports, we'll meet the new coach taking over the Armstrong girls lacrosse team.
But first, a chance for rain Wednesday evening. There's also a slight possibility for thunderstorms.
We are a nation that loves sugary drinks, whether it's soda, sweetened coffee, or sports drinks.
Experts say those beverages are the largest source of added sugar in the American diet. And in today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland explains how registered dietitians want people to rethink their drink.
Take a visit to the local grocery store and you'll likely see full aisles devoted to beverages that aren't water.
It tastes good.
Chances are that everyone has their guilty pleasure.
My favorite drink is probably root beer.
Yet whether it's a soft drink, a sports drink, or something claiming to be a fruit juice, the common denominator is that they're all infused with sugar, and Americans can't seem to get enough.
Well, we're drinking taking in about 300 calories more than we did a generation ago.
Donna McDuffie is a registered dietitian with the Minnesota Department of Health. She says of the 300 extra calories we're consuming, about half come from sugar-sweetened beverages.
It's mostly about access. It's very easy to get. It's very cheap. It tastes good. And there is difficulty getting access to healthier beverage options. So you add all that together and you have the problem.
It's a problem because excessive intake of sugar-infused drinks has led to expanding waistlines.
And it's the weight gain that's the problem. That's where you get the chronic disease, the weight-related chronic diseases like some cancers, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease and stroke.
On a normal day, McDuffie said people can consume nearly 1,400 calories from drinks alone, but substitute a couple of those drinks with water or less sugary drinks, and you can cut that down to 235 calories.
What I would recommend is really to try to acquire a taste for water, because we're not drinking enough water at all.
However, some people admit that choosing water when there are so many other options available is easier said than done.
If I saw a water with an orange slice in it or a root beer, I'd probably go for the root beer instead.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Still ahead, a Brooklyn Park children's book project gets a big boost.
But first, the defending state champion Hopkins boys track team is ready for a new season. John Jacobson catches up with the Royals up next.
Though the past couple of weeks have been a little chilly, this is definitely an earlier spring than either of the past 2 years. Track and field athletes are working out outside, including the defending state Class AA boys champions from Hopkins High School. The Royals scored 70 team points from just 9 athletes, winning 4 events at state last June. Individual state champions Terrence Bowers and Shahid Hickman graduated, but overall this team has the potential to be better.
This year we return actually, I think, more depth. We're a deeper team this year. We'll have more sprint depth. Our hurdlers, who were most of the year, we hurdled freshmen last year in our varsity, and they're all a year older now, and a year stronger, and a year faster, more mature, better competitors. We actually bring back more depth through 18 events than the team we brought to True Team State last year.
The Royals have a good core of sprinters returning with some good young talent ready to step in. The distance group is solid, and Coach Nick Lovis says it's the best the program has had in years. With a state championship on their resume and the potential to do big things again this spring, it's a great motivator for this group.
It's definitely a big motivator because, there are high expectations, and, the team's definitely talented enough to do it again. So
we have a lot of young talent coming in, and we still have juniors that were in state last year. So yeah, we have a lot of people that are good this year.
Hopkins is scheduled to compete in a meet at Eastview High School next Tuesday, and then will be part of the Lake Conference Relays April 10th at the University of Minnesota. Monday marked the opening day for lacrosse practices around the area. The successful Armstrong girls program has a new head coach. Caitlin Bishop, a 2009 Armstrong graduate who played for the Falcons, takes over for Bill Moyer, who retired. Bishop's been an assistant the past 5 seasons. The colorful Moyer's a tough act to follow, but Bishop is ready for the challenge.
People have said that I've been a mini Bill. I'd like to just be Caitlin, not mini Bill, but I think we'll be okay on the volume of the voice. But obviously just taking more of that kind of senior role in the program and stepping up and doing the scheduling and the practice plans and all of that. But I'm very excited for the season.
Well, we've been with Caitlin for a long time, and she's been with the program for forever, so we're pretty used to her coaching style, and should be not a bad transition at all.
Though they lost some good talent to graduation, the Falcons are building on a good foundation of success. They were 15-4 and placed 6th in the state tournament last season. Spring break has cut into the numbers at practice this week, but the coaches are seeing some good young talent too.
We graduated a lot of our talent. Some girls aren't coming back this year, just some changes. But overall, I think we have such a good feeder program in our youth program, and it's producing, skills-based athletes right from the beginning as freshmen. So it's really nice to see. We have a lot of young girls coming up, and we're going to have a lot of people to fill those spots.
We had, like I said before, a huge turnout in just captain's practices alone, which probably the highest numbers we've seen in a long, long time. So I think everyone sees what we can do and sees that we can go to state, and that's such a great opportunity for a lot of people.
Tryouts are early next week for the Falcons. Their first game is Monday, April 13th at home against Irondale. A former Hopkins High School hockey standout who just wrapped up his college career at the University of Minnesota is now headed to professional hockey. Number 22, Travis Boyd, has signed a 2-year contract with the Washington Capitals, the team that drafted him in 2011. Boyd finished his senior season with the Gophers, scoring a career-high 19 goals with 22 assists. He netted 10 power play goals this year and was named second-team All-Big Ten. Boyd will join the Capitals' AHL affiliate in Hershey, Pennsylvania on a tryout contract this week. His 2-year contract actually takes effect next year. So a great year for him. He had a great 4-year career really with Minnesota, and now on to the next level.
All right. Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, a local chocolatier hopping with Easter business.
Plus, a children's book from Brooklyn Park that just may be ready for a sequel. A local Brooklyn Park arts teacher has teamed up with a Brooklyn Park native on a new children's book.
As Neil Persley shows us, the result is a unique story on and off the pages.
So it just started with us talking.
Heather Zeman was teaching an art class at Pease Academy in Minneapolis with co-instructor Sheila McMahon when an idea germinated for a children's book. Sheila would write and Heather would illustrate.
We narrowed it down that it would be a cat.
In 2013, Isabella was born.
I did some drawings and then I just thought, what about cut paper?
And so it was decided that this 16th century art form would be used to tell the story of a modern cat in the city. The illustrations are amazing, especially when you consider that they are all from layering different colors of cut paper.
I start out with a really complex design and I'm forced to simplify it.
The story follows the adventurous cat Isabella, exploring some very identifiable areas.
And we thought, wow, we have so much here in Minneapolis. I mean, we might as well just stick with our city, our twin cities to start with.
In the spring of last year came the tough part. How to get it funded.
Sheila had experience with Kickstarter.
They launched a Kickstarter campaign last May.
Our original goal with the Kickstarter was to print 250 books.
They had a month to hit their goal of more than $4,000 or they would lose all of the pledged donations.
We realized that we had a lot of interest, so we decided to invest and double our investment.
They reached their goal with a total of $4,706 pledged to cover their printing costs.
So we printed 500.
The unique little cut paper cat from Brooklyn Park may be ready for another adventure.
Of course, we're hoping for a sequel.
Fans of Isabella, stay tuned. Neil Persley, 12 News.
This one I think is...
Isabella, Cat in the City, is available at Love from Minnesota stores, at the IDS Center in Minneapolis, and also in Roseville. And finally, from cats to bunnies.
We're talking chocolate bunnies just in time for Easter.
Now we have, I think, 24 different varieties of bunnies. You know, anywhere from that small to, this is my favorite, this is the Belgian bunny.
They have their hands full this week at Painted Turtle Chocolatier in Plymouth with a parade of Easter bunnies of all sizes and varieties. Easter week is one of the busiest times of the year there, and they make 10 times more chocolate than normal and expect sales to be up 200% as customers come in with a specific goal.
Baskets, they want to fill their baskets, yeah. And they want good quality chocolate. You know, you can go get a cheaper chocolate, but they want the good stuff.
They also offer chocolate crosses, lambs, French hens, and roosters.
Busy time of year.
We all want the good stuff.
That's right. Valentine's the very busiest,
great.
though.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.